Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. I'm going to be talking about something that isn't Doctor Who, but it is, how do they put it these days, Doctor Who adjacent. I mean, let's face it, it's got, a certain David Tennant in it. It's got someone who'd make a damn fine Doctor. And, it's also been directed by Richard Talley, and somebody in this has also got a tattoo of the Seal of Gallifrey on their arm, and I'm sure there's a host of other Doctor Who adjacent and Doctor Who front. I mean, let's face it. Sorry, I've just realised one of the big Doctor Who adjacent things in it's got Sean Pertwee in it. Okay, so we've got through series 1 of Good Omens, which was based on Terry and Neil's book. Now we all know the story, whether it's true or not, that Neil Gaiman wrote a spoof of The Omen and went, "Hey, Terry, you're my mate. Have a read of my manuscript. Tell me what you think." And Terry, being Terry, went away and went, "Neil, I've finished it." And Neil goes, "What?" I've finished it. I've taken your stuff and I've basically finished it. I'm sorry. There you go. Easy mistake to make. I've done it. So, I have a signed copy of Good Omens, the book, which is signed just by Terry Pratchett. And it's a lovely thing. It really is. It's a hardback first edition and it lives on my shelf. Terry and Neil decided to possibly do a sequel and it never ever got written. But there were notes made, ideas banded about. Okay, so that's series 1. Series 2 was made from the notes. Okay. And series 3 follows on from series 2. At the very end of series 2, there's the world famous kiss. And then Michael goes, Mr. Aziraphale goes up to heaven to help out Derek Jacobi, the Metatron, played in the film Dogma by, Alan Rickman. And he goes off to sort out the second coming. That's how it finishes. Now, there's a whole lot of, how can I cover this in this podcast? Unpleasantness linked with Neil Gaiman. Okay? Now, you can take that and you can run with it in any way you want. I recommend that you listen to the incredibly good podcast that has got the full history and all of the people who are victims and all of that business to one side. From a podcasting point of view, the bit that matters to us from a reviewer's end of things is that Neil is no longer seen as somebody who can provide a nice piece of work. That's the reason that Sandman isn't going beyond season 2, okay? Because it's not a good name to be associated with stuff. Neil Gaiman's name on the front of things used to be a major draw, but these days not so much, okay? But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what's going on. So apparently teleplay by Neil Gaiman and Michael Marshall Smith, okay? And Peter Atkins. So what we've got is, we've got a sewing up of the narrative, a completion of it all. And what we had, I think it was 6 episodes or possibly, either way, this is episode 13 of the whole thing. Okay, so we'll just have a quick look at the synopsis. Aziraphale begins to enact the second coming and assigns, Sandalphon to watch over Jesus. Jesus is in this, yeah, we get it. All chaos breaks loose when there's the Book of Life, the Apocalypse, if people want to bring it about. There's the angel Michael. Michael's a great name, by the way, but it does mean defeater of Satan. It doesn't mean destroyer of Satan, which means, Michael is king of half a job. Yeah, anyone who knows me knows that that's fair enough. So, what we've got is, we've got a narrative that's a bit of a mystery. It's got the same characters from leftover from last time, which is to be expected, and it's got a lot of work going by Neil Gaiman. But of course, the actual story is just one 90-minute movie. So I'm watching it with my family. We'd put this off for a while, mainly because we were worried that it was going to spoil the other episodes. And the fact that it's 90 minutes felt a bit weird, just finishing the whole of the narrative off in one go. Felt odd, clunky. I'm assuming that you may have watched this, but if you haven't, it is worth seeing if you've seen the others, because it finishes the narrative off superbly. Now what I'm saying is that the first hour is a bit of a mystery. You don't really know what's going on, but you've kind of figured it out by watching it, and you get there and you go, yeah, I get what's going on. But then you've got that last half hour. You've got the completion of the narrative. You've got, admittedly, the pan-in on a painting of Terry Pratchett at the end, which is very nice, because they are pushing the Pratchett end of things much more than they are the Gaiman end of things, and I get that's why they're doing it. I do, genuinely do. That's not a problem from a marketing point of view alone. That makes sense. But here's the thing. That last half hour is glorious. And I don't know why the rest of it just didn't speak to me, because I think I was just worried. It was that disappointment I used to experience before we were watching Doctor Who, where I was just sat there being concerned that things were going on. Now there's the bit where during the original rebellion, which it looks like it's implying that it's the first ever meeting between our two main protagonists. But of course we've usually got that in other flashbacks where they meet at the creation of the universe and lots of other things going on. So I'm guessing that this is considerably earlier with the Great Rebellion. And the solution that's put forward to the ongoing problem is beautiful. It just damn works. Because it provides us with the reason of why we're here. It gives us everything that we need to make this universe and our universe, whichever one you believe we live in, work. And it's glorious. Because let's face it, their universe is 6,000 years old. In his ours? I don't know. It means that they are so important. You've got God, you've got Satan, you've got the most important game of solitaire, because let's face it, God creates their own enemy, which they could defeat at a moment's notice, but they never do. It's like creating Moriarty on the holodeck. You just switch off the holodeck. I know that's not how they solve the problem in the end. They end up putting him in his own little holodeck box, but you know what I mean. I'm sure that Moriarty's actually come back in the new Picard series, but I've not seen that yet, so let's not go down that particular road, because this is not a Star Trek review. Would you like me to look at Star Trek? Any of them? It's all a bit chaotic at the moment. There's a lot of Star Trek out there that I just haven't seen. Should we get back to the actual topic at hand? So you've got that ending, and the ending beyond the ending, which sums up the whole narrative and just makes it work gorgeously. So if you were in it for the relationship between the angel and the demon, then this is great. This is so for you. But if you were in it for the existential angst, the beginning bit's alright. The bit with Jesus and the pizza's really quite sweet. The bit with the guy out of, the Full Monty, and possibly Game of Thrones and one or two other things like A Knight's Tale. All of those things, he's great. In fact, there isn't a bad performance in this at all. Derek Jacobi does feel a little bit wasted. I don't think there's a single scene where he's stood up. Is he well? I hope so. I do hope so. I need more War Master. So yeah, did I enjoy it? I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to. Am I glad that there's going to be no more Good Omens? Yes, because it came to a natural and very, very permanent ending. And it was a great end. In fact, the bit before the ending, alright. But the bit once we're just in the universe with the bookshop, all of that was just lovely. And that's it. That's the review. No trailer, nothing exciting, no great fanfare. It ends here. And you know what? I'm quite tempted to go and watch season 2 of Sandman. These are some of the most important bits of narrative of me in my 20s. The Sandman really spoke to me. Good Omens spoke to me, the works of Pratchett. Let's face it, I have signed paperbacks coming out of my ears of Terry Pratchett. I think I may even have a full set of the books. So yeah, it's important that it's done, but it's important that it existed because it was great, truly great. So cheers to whoever was responsible, because the new writers did a gorgeous job. So until next time, be seeing you. That was the Tin Dog Podcast. All topics discussed are the intellectual property of the copyright owners. No infringement is intended. Why not follow the show on Blue Sky at tindogpodcast.bsky.social. If you've enjoyed this podcast on YouTube, please click like and subscribe. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.